Aeon's End is a co-op game for 1 to 4 players. You are mages fighting to save your home from terrifying monsters. I reviewed Aeon's End Legacy in August 2019. The majority of the rules and gameplay are the same, but I'll give a refresher. We've added that video to the end of this one. You start with basic cards like spells and gems. Use them to attack or gain better cards. Aeon's End uses a turn order deck. Depending on player count, you also use the wild card. The turn order deck is shuffled at the start and again when emptied. Mages have their own starting breach layouts, a unique ability that's triggered during gameplay, and have a slightly different starting hand. Spells are attached to breaches for the following turn. If the breach is open, you may cast the spell. If it's closed, you must cast. Spells can only be attached to closed breaches focused that round, meaning either was spent to move it one step towards being opened. Each nemesis has special rules, decks, and or unique powers that hurt you and or the town of Gravehold. You lose if Gravehold is destroyed. Spend Aether to buy supply cards from the middle. Gems provide Aether, relics provide support, and spells usually do damage. When you buy a card, it goes on top of your discard pile. When your draw pile is empty, do not shuffle your discard pile. The order you buy things stays the same. This is the other big unique thing about Aeon's End. Simply flip it over. Now it's your draw deck again. Because your actions determine spell order and how cards are added to your discard pile, you can manipulate and shape your deck. Some support cards and spells allow for discarding and deck thinning, meaning discarding weaker cards. On the other hand, some nasty enemies will also force you to get rid of cards, usually powerful ones. You win if the nemesis is dead or its draw deck is empty and its player area is empty. You lose if all players or Gravehold have no health. Play cards, shape your deck, plan wisely, work as a team, and destroy those foul nemesis. That's Aeon's End. Our dining table is 7 feet by 3.5 feet, and we need most of it for Aeon's End. These games are huge. Our games are a bit longer than Aeon's End Legacies, but still average 2 hours or less. Setup and takedown aren't quick. Expect to spend at least 10 minutes doing things other than actually playing the game. The decision-making and teamwork, plus maximizing Aeon's End no-shuffle deck building, means this shouldn't be played by kids under 10 unless they're really experienced with games. There's lots of reading, plus some players, especially younger ones, might find the art too scary. In our third game of Aeon's End, things were going well, until they went horribly, horribly wrong. Gravehold was nearly destroyed, and we only dealt 25 damage to the nemesis. And we were wiped from existence. Despite this, we had fun and gave it a shot the next day using the exact same setup. We managed our health better, kept minions from overwhelming us, and consistently dealt damage. 3 cards in a row came out to knock Gravehold down to 4 health. We were nervous, but there was only 1 card left in the Nemesis deck, and the initiative deck needed to be reshuffled. With 4 of us and only 2 Nemesis cards, the odds were in our favor, right? We lost. The base game of Aeon's End has 8 playable mages, 4 nemesis that provide different challenges, adjustable levels, and tons of ways to set up the supply. In other words, this game offers an incredible amount of variety and replayability. Oh, and there are expansions. A bunch of small ones and a couple big box ones. The no-shuffle system is absolutely brilliant. You need to smartly decide how to play cards so they're activated and discarded in ways that will benefit you. Purchasing cards requires more thoughts than in other deck builders because you're not just thinking about the effects and ability, but also its placement in your deck. You have your own hand of cards and mage abilities, so this doesn't suffer from alpha or bossy gamers like a lot of co-ops. Rules are surprisingly straightforward. Some newer gamers might be overwhelmed, but I bet many could handle it if they tried. The original cards are as attractive as the new additions, but the art's nice and the graphic design is clean. You can quickly see the important information in order to make decisions. Games are tense right up until the end. You might think you have no chance, but the turn order deck helps you out. Of course, the other way around also happens. It can be annoying in a game that is so strategic. The nemesis goes twice in a row, shuffle, the nemesis goes 2 more times, then me, mom, dad, wild, reshuffle. 2 more nemesis turns? Some mages can manipulate the turn order deck, which is very handy. Analysis paralysis, or AP, means you freeze when making decisions. If you're like that, skip this. It's no fun for other players if someone takes 5 minutes every time they're thinking about gaining a new card. Once you know the supply decks well, your AP should decrease. When I first played Aeon's End, I'd already played many deck builders. It was my favorite board game mechanism for a long time. I still love it, and this game is a huge reason for that. It has a cool and creepy theme, it's loaded with components that make it infinitely replayable, and it's incredibly tense, clever, and fun. I mentioned earlier that there are expansions. War Eternal and the New Age are expand-alones that expand the base game and are playable on their own. I'll review those at some point, but know that pretty much anything with the Aeon's End name is highly, highly recommended.